Let's talk about preparations ahead of the September election, governorship election in Edo State. Political parties are done with their primaries now, but what we've noticed is that there's been the emergence of more than one candidate in all of the top parties in that part of the country, and that may now leave the option to the court to determine who the authentic candidates are for the 21st of September election this year. The Labour Party, for instance, under the leadership of Julius Abure as national chairman, produced a former president of the Nigeria Bar Association, Olumide Akpata, as winner of the Labour Party governorship ticket. He actually got his certificate of return earlier today. However, the factional national chairman of the party, Lamidi Akpata, announced the conduct of a parallel governorship primary and named Anderson Asemota as the Edo Labour Party governorship candidate, as well as Monday Mawa, who is his running mate. I'm joined on the show this evening by the factional candidate of the Labour Party in Edo State, Anderson Asemota, who joins us live from our Abuja studio. Mr. Asemota, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure joining you.
So let's begin with the update we got from the court. The Court of Appeal, I think last week thereabout, affirmed Julius Abure as Labour Party chairman, overturning an earlier judgment of the High Court. Doesn't this automatically nullify any primary organized by the Akpata camp?
Well, that is not correct. That does not in any way affect the primary conducted by the Apapa led Labour Party. Rather, it affected the primary conducted by the Julius Abure-led faction of the Labour Party. You see, my reason is all the more so because you would recall that on the 5th day of April, 2023, the FCT High Court restrained Abure and 3 other national officers from parading themselves as national officers of the party. Now, that order, that restraining order, was in operation from the 5th day of April till the 6th day of March 2024, when the Court of Appeal judgment was delivered, setting aside the restraining order. The question then arises, which order was in operation when the primary was conducted? And the answer is simple. The order in operation was the restraining order as delivered by the FCT High Court, Abuja. That was the order in operation. And you and I, you very well know that when an order is made, whether you consider it foolish or not, you owe it a duty to obey that order. Abure, knowing fully well that there was a restraining order against him, and 3 others went ahead, kept misleading the people, misrepresenting the people, deceiving the people, that he was still the national chairman of the party. Whereas, by the restraining order, he was not. And he had consistently denied the existence of that order until the 6th day of March, when the Court of Appeal delivered that judgment, setting aside that restraining order. Now, that order was the order in operation. The Court of Appeal judgment that came out on the 6th day of March 2024 cannot now operate retrospectively to not date back, to not go back to the event or the activities conducted from the 6th day of April to the 5th day of October. No. The order in operation was the restraining order. And when an order is made, a party is duty-bound to obey that order. Abure has failed to abide and comply or pay total obeisance to that order was in flagrant breach, in disobedience. As a matter of fact, it treated the order of the FCT High Court with disdain, with ignominy and discontent. No, it is not done. That is a legal impossibility. The law does not command the doing of the impossible. Let's not cogit ad impossibilia. You see, there's a principle of law which we refer to as
Asemota. I want to be sure that you can hear me, right?
So derive legality from illegality. The primary that was conducted by Abure in Edo State and the 3 other ones that took place in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa were done in disobedience of the FCT order. Were done in flagrant violation of the FCT order. So it couldn't have had any validity or the right. So if anybody at all will be affected by that judgment of the Court of Appeal, it is the primary conducted by Abure and his cohort. At the time that primary was done, they were under the restraining order of the FCT High Court.
To put our conversation in the right context, the judgment of the Court of Appeal, the justice, I think it was Justice Haman Baraka, who said that the High Court was wrong to have assumed jurisdiction on the matter. I know you're a lawyer, but let us set aside the legal interpretation of these for perhaps someone who is not a party to this conversation. So let us move on. Tell us precisely where and when the primary you won, held, and whether or not INEC was represented.
Well, okay, thank you very much. The primary conducted wherein I emerged was conducted, the letter for that primary was sent to INEC. As a matter of fact, we have a letter, we have it, certified true copy of that letter was sent to INEC, notifying them of the conduct of the primary. In fact, after that, a subsequent letter was again sent to INEC, notifying them of the change of venue. In fact, as a matter of fact, the leadership of the party, they altered the venue, I think about 2 or 3 times, and INEC were duly put on notice. So the primary in question was conducted on the 22nd day of February 2024. That was when the primary was conducted. And the primary was conducted in Edo State by the National Working Committee of the Labour Party, and under the leadership of Alhaji Bashiru Lamidi Apapa, who is the authentic acting national chairman of the party. So the primary was conducted on that day, and I was elected as consensus candidate. Consensus candidate, because every other candidate who were equally vying for the said ticket, stepped down before the said primary. So I was the only candidate on the ballot, so there was no other candidate. So I participated in that primary as consensus candidate and was duly announced as the winner of the primary, and my name was immediately forwarded to INEC. And we also have the letter, a copy of the letter, forwarding my name to the Independent National Electoral Commission, and the same was duly acknowledged. In fact, it was duly acknowledged before any other person, any other name. So my primary was conducted in substantial compliance with the provision of the Electoral Act. So the relevant provision of the Electoral Act, were duly satisfied in the conduct of that primary. So as a matter of fact, we are on firm ground as far as that primary was concerned.
I spoke with the chairman of the Labour Party in Edo State yesterday, and I asked him about you. Here's exactly what he said.
Candidate with midwife from our primaries, which was seamless, is Barrister Olumide Akpata, and that is the only candidate of Labour Party that exists in Nigeria, in Edo State today. And that whichever maybe have been falsified by the Apapa group does not exist in as far as we are concerned. And I'm also aware that INEC as an arbiter and an institution that is highly respected understands who the candidate of the party is, and that is Olumide Akpata. I'm not sure they will take anything short of that.
So that's Kelly Ogbaloy, chairman of the Labour Party in Edo State, who says that whatever the Apapa camp did doesn't exist as far as they are concerned. As a matter of fact, Olumide Akpata today received the certificate of return from the party's organizing secretary. How do you respond to those who say you are an imposter where Labour Party Edo State is concerned?
Well, sadly, those referring to me as an impostor or whatever name or nomenclature they may have used actually are the one impersonating. Because the man under whose umbrella they are fetching umbrage, deriving their authority, was clearly under the restraining order of the FCT High Court at the time the man acted, at the time the man presided over their meetings. At the time, the man issued correspondence. At the time, the man authored whatsoever it is they did. At the time the primary was conducted, the man was under the restraining order of the FCT High Court. So that order, the court cannot make another in vain. That is the point we are trying to make all along. The court cannot make another in vain. The order of the court made on the 5th day of April 2023 cannot be in vain. That order was in operation at the time, at all time material to the conduct of that their primary. At all time material to the time Akpata himself purchased the primary from Aburi. At all time material to the time the name of Akpata was announced as a candidate. If at all there was an impostor, it is those who are calling us impostor that were actually impostor. It is only from the 6th day of April, the 6th day of March, when the Court of Appeal judgment was delivered, that Aburi right to act for the party germinated. That was that day. From that, between the 5th day of April 2023 and that 6th day of April when he was under a restraining order, he could not have done anything legally so-called. Everything done by him before that time was a nullity. What the orders of the court are meant to be obeyed. Is Abure and his cohort, are they too big to obey the judgment, the order of a court of competent jurisdiction? The answer is no. But you see, what they are trying to do now, by now relying on the Court of Appeal judgment to validate or legalize their illegal act, is tantamount to what the Court of Appeal referred to in the case of Tonyeko and APC, that they are trying to resurrect Lazarus, who died over 2,000 years ago. When they know that the Court of Appeal is not Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is no longer on earth here with us. You see,
Mr.
what
Asemota,
they're trying to do is tantamount to asking the court to perform
let
miracle.
us,
as a matter of fact, these cases are...
Let us leave Jesus out of this conversation. The perception out there is that the Apapa faction is sponsored from the outside to disrupt the Labour Party and weaken the party as a formidable opposition. And the question they're asking is, we now have some lawmakers who won election, last year on the platform of the Labour Party. How many of these are within the Apapa fold? And that what actual advancement, has that camp made where the Labour Party is concerned? The Apapa camp is not in support of Peter Obi, who literally carried the party on his shoulder in 2023. What is the legitimacy that this faction is holding on to vis-a-vis these perceptions?
Well, first, let me make it clear here and now. You see, most of the cases done by most of the Labour Party candidates that won the last election, both those of them that won at the tribunal, lost at the Court of Appeal, I participated. As a matter of fact, I conducted a lot of them. You see, I'm a procedural law lawyer. I'm not inside chamber lawyer. I did most of those election petitions for those guys. You see, the thing is, it is nothing like Apapa Labour Party or Abure Labour Party. Labour Party is Labour Party, and Labour Party is one. You see, if the right thing had been done, I'm not sure we'll be where we are now. Now, it is very simple. Article 14, sub 2 of the Labour Party Constitution. When the national chairman is suspended or is unavailable for any reason, the deputy national chairman steps in. When Abure was restrained, Apapa steps in because being the only deputy national chairman elected, there are other two national chairmen, but those ones are appointed from the TUC and the NLC. So those ones cannot hold elective position. By the Constitution, Apapa automatically steps in. So whatever Apapa did, all that was required to be done, as was obtainable in other political parties, Abure needed to have supported what Apapa was doing. But rather, he said no, that the position belonged to him alone and all that, it must be given to him. And he had fought everyone frantically to make sure he held on to the power. You see, the thing is, Labour Party is one. We all work for most of the Labour Party candidates. I can mention a lot of them, most of these people that I worked for, even without pay, that I worked for. I did their election petition. With even my deputy. There are some of them we did in Lagos. There are some of them we did in other states. So Labour Party, Labour Party. Nobody is sponsoring or bringing anybody here to weaken the structure or the candidacy of Labour Party in Edo State. Okay. If Akpata is the one there or Anderson is the one there, it's the same thing. What we are fighting for is to entrench proper Labour Party, to bring Labour Party on the front burner. Apapa is from Edo South and from Edo South. The people are going to vote for Labour Party, not Akpata or Anderson. Okay. So the victory comes to Labour Party as a party.
Another question that have been raised, is the question of how united the Apapa faction is. Because as we speak now, a UK-based legal practitioner by the name Hilton Idausa has also announced himself as Labour Party governorship candidate produced by the same Apapa faction. He claimed that he has the backing of the state leaders and party members. So is there another faction within your faction?
Not at all. I think the Alhaji Lamidi Apapa, is a man of impeccable character, and the members of the NWC, they have actually come out to deny that allegation, to say that only one primary was conducted by them. And obviously, let me say it here and now, if indeed there was any such candidate, obviously they're sponsored by those of the Abure faction. So it has no nexus whatsoever with Alhaji Lamidi Apapa-led Labour Party. There is no connection at all with Abure. As a matter of fact, Apapa and the member of the NWC, they have come out to completely deny that any other person other than myself and my deputy, Barrister Monday Mawa, emerged from their primary. As a matter of fact, I told you earlier that I was the only candidate, I was a consensus candidate of the Labour Party, and I duly emerged. So no other candidate, so no other name whatsoever. So if indeed there was any other primary, I'm very sure it was conducted at best in their imagination. So there was no other primary. I can tell you, you can take that from me. You can invite the National Chairman, Alhaji Lamidi Apapa, or the National Publicity Secretary and all that. Obviously, they will repeat exactly what I have said here. So there's nothing like a Apapa fashion.
Okay, but definitely another candidate
led Labour Party.
From the Abure-led Labour Party. But that's our time. With time, perhaps the court will decide who the authentic candidate is for the Labour Party in Edo State. I've been speaking with Anderson Asemota, who emerged candidate of the Labour Party from the Apapa faction. Thank you so much for talking to us on the program this evening.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.